New clothes have become total garbage over the past few years. And this is part 4 in a series where I unpack these sort of hidden reasons why clothing quality is so terrible right now. In the previous 3 parts in this series, I broke down how overproduction and the myth of free shipping are actually resulting in lower quality clothing. And I also explained the design process that is taking place in big brands and retailers all around the world right now, where cost is far more important than quality and fit. Today, we're going to talk about another hidden reason why clothing quality is so bad right now. And I think it's going to surprise you unless you actively work within the fashion industry. And that is air freight. Okay, Amanda, what is air freight? Well, it turns out that the vast majority of new clothing that we buy right now and have been buying for the last few years has shipped around the world via airplane. And that might be kind of surprising to you. And you might even be more surprised to hear that in many cases, any new clothes you buy right now have probably been on not 1, but 2 airplane trips around the world. Late last year, Swiss organization Public Eye did a deep investigation into the connection between air shipping and the fashion industry. So the Zaragoza airport is about 270 kilometers outside of Barcelona. And it's actually, because you've probably never heard of Zaragoza before, you might be surprised to hear that it is actually the second busiest airport in Spain. Why? I think I'm probably already giving this away by telling you the name of the airport, and you're also seeing the headline here, but it's thanks to all the clothing shipping in and out of Zaragoza airport every day for Zara and its parent company, Inditex. In fact, Inditex books about 1,600 flights, cargo flights, in and out of Zaragoza airport every year. According to the person at the Zaragoza airport who's responsible for booking all of those Zara/Inditex flights, around 32 cargo flights are handled for Zara/Inditex every week, with about 100 metric tons of clothing on board, which you're like, what's a metric ton? Well, here's what I'll say. Research indicates that probably about 50,000 metric tons of clothing are moving in and out of Zaragoza airport every year, specifically for Inditex. And we're looking at, 50 billion garments, kind of depending on what they are. There's other stuff on those planes as well. There's shoes and belts and other things that Zara sells. But, we're talking a lot of product. All of this stuff is shipping into Zaragoza airport from factories around the world. It's going off to this huge facility where it's tagged and it's boxed up to ship back out to stores. And then, with the exception of some European stores, the rest of that product is packed back up, sent over to Zaragoza airport again, where it flies to stores around the world. Inditex has close to 6,000 stores around the world. A big chunk of them are Zara, but Inditex operates other brands as well, like Pull & Bear. If you live in North America, you can be assured that any garment you buy from Zara has been on 2 airplane trips, from the factory into the facility outside Zaragoza, and then back on the plane, back to the store where you bought it. If you opted for overnight shipping, there's a 3rd flight right there for your clothing. Now, the thing is, Zara is an extreme example here, and finding the data about how much Zara was shipping via air was really, really easy because it's all going into one place. But rest assured, the rest of the industry is doing this as well. In fact, Public Eye examined customs logs from airports around the world and found that some brands that you and I know very well are shipping a lot of product via air, including Lululemon, Uniqlo, and URBN, which is the parent company of Urban Outfitters, Anthropologie, Free People, and Nuuly, all using a lot of air shipping. Public Eye didn't have quite the same, access to volume because they didn't have someone at the airport just telling them how much was shipping in, but they were picking up on a lot via the customs logs. The thing about all of that air shipping is that it's the direct result of the fast fashion era, right? Brands want to be the first to sell you a trend, and at the same time, they're also really afraid of buying into the wrong trend, so they're waiting till the last minute to place any orders, and they want to ensure that they get what they want to order before anyone else does. And air shipping fills that void because it gets things really fast. I started my career in buying before the fast fashion model became the way to sell clothing. And back then, the vast majority of all of our orders shipped via ocean, meaning they came on a boat across the ocean. And yeah, it takes some time, usually 4 to 6 weeks for an order to leave the port overseas and arrive in the port in, say, the United States. And then it needs more time to be trucked off to the warehouse. Even more time if there's a backup at the port or at customs. But the thing was, back then, it was okay because we worked 4 to 6 months in advance on what we were going to order. So, like, right now, it's just about February. If we were buying the old-fashioned way, we would be working on like August, September product, right? We had plenty of time to get the fit right, to get the details right, and to ship stuff via ocean. And the reason that shipping via ocean was really important is that is the price, right? Like, to ship a dress on a boat is about, I don't know, like 25 cents a garment. To ship that same dress via air, like on an airplane, is about $2. Now, that might not sound like much to you, but let's say it's an order of 10,000 units, which, by the way, that would be way smaller than any Zara order. I would speculate that Zara probably orders 30 to 50,000 units of everything they sell. But I've worked places where we were ordering 10,000 units, which is still a lot of stuff. So if we order 10,000 units and we ship it via boat, we're looking at about $2,500 to ship it. If we ship it via airplane, we're looking at $20,000. That's for like a dress, a top, maybe some pants. Don't even get me started on how much it costs to ship shoes and bags. You don't want to hear. It's alarming. Here's the thing about shipping via air. It only takes about a week at most, usually about 5 days, and that includes getting it to the airport, picking it up from the airport. It's very, very fast. And in the fast fashion era, where you no longer have 4 to 6 months to get a product right, and you have more like 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, you need to ship that product in a week or less, or none of it works. None of it works out. And so this is why most retailers are shipping via air most of the time. So what's the impact here? Well, from an environmental perspective, shipping via air has about 14 times the impact of shipping via boat. So we're paying a big environmental price here for all that speed. But if you're like, I don't even know, what is carbon footprint? The planet is so big and burning, I can't even think about it. I want you to think about this. If we're saying it's going to cost about $2 to ship a dress via airplane, I want to assure you that you, the customer, are paying for that. And even though the price that you're paying for that dress might be lower than it's ever been historically, because after all, clothes are cheaper now than they were in the 90s, you're getting a lot less because part of what you're paying for is that airplane ride. So let's say a company is making a dress that's going to sell for $58, and they've determined that that dress should cost about $10 to make. That's not just including the sewing, right? That's also including the shipment overseas, and it's including duties and a bunch of other stuff. So $10 is the threshold. Well, when the design and production and buying teams are working on this dress, they know it's going to have to ship via air, and that's going to cost $2. So really, they only have $8 left to make that dress, maybe only $6 after we take out customs and duties and all that stuff. So what you're really getting when you pay $58 for that dress is a dress that is $6 worth of fabric and sewing and trims and details. And that is a really hard thing to make work out. And so what happens is, as I talked about in the previous part of this series, the team sits down and starts looking for a cheaper fabric, cutting out details like pockets and linings, and just generally coming up with a cheaper garment. Of course, I'm just going to remind you again that because this stuff had to be created and shipped so fast, there's no time to get the fit right. There's no time to get the details right. And so what you end up with is this garment that no one had the time to do a good job on, and it had to cost $2 less in order to ship it via air because it's fast fashion and everything has to be fast. This is another reason why clothes are kind of garbage these days. If you want to learn more about this in way more detail, one, I suggest checking out this public eye investigation. You can just Google it. But also listen to the most recent episode of Clothes Horse podcast, where I talk all about this and so much more. You can find that anywhere you listen to podcasts. All right, I'll be back soon with another reason why new clothes are kind of garbage these days. Bye.